Hi there, Lillian Reiki, parenting strategist from Parent Support Network, sounding a bit like deja vu. Take two. I could always say that I had a computer malfunction of some sort. I'm going to be totally transparent. I just recorded a beautiful 20-minute episode at 1 p.m. as scheduled, and I neglected to unmute myself. So I'm just going to laugh at that. It's probably not the first time that I've done it, but maybe I was destined to say something a little bit different this time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you tuned, I had a few people tuning into the first one. If you tuned into the first one and you wondered why I continued talking with no sound on, my apologies. So let's go for take two. So today I wanted to talk about the beautiful dance between the three stands of the Nurtured Heart approach. And if you're not familiar with the Nurtured Heart approach, if you haven't heard any of my lives or my masterclasses or my courses, I'll explain it as we go today. You'll get a real feel for what the Nurtured Heart approach is. But it actually started with a post that one of my co-trainers wrote on our trainers page that actually really inspired me to share this with you today. So I'm going to actually read what she said. She's a mother of I think 3 or 4 young children, and she had such amazing results with the Nurtured Heart approach, not just with her children but also with her partner, who was dealing with some mental health issues, that 8 other members of her family actually went and became certified trainers just to be able to learn more about what actually saved her family's life, which I think is pretty amazing. So she went on, she started by saying, Nurtured Heart approach is all about being attuned to energy. And I so agree with that. Well, when you think about it, everything is about energy. And so she said, it isn't really about the actual behaviors that our children have or do, or how they behave. Rather, it's the energetic dance we might be blind to if we aren't reading and seeing with our hearts. I love that. Sometimes she says things like, she was particularly talking about a child being rude. So sometimes rudeness, for example, and that could just be an example. There could be lots of other things. They could have been disrespectful. They could have been unkind. They could have been fighting with their sibling, not listening, not cooperating. It could have been a myriad of things. But in this particular instance, it was around rudeness. And she said sometimes rudeness might be masking a need for connection that they know they will get faster and easier with negativity. And I so align with that, and I so relate to that. I know I've talked about upside down parenting many times before, and I know that myself particularly, I was doing a lot of upside down parenting when my younger son was going through some challenges, only because I really didn't know what I didn't know. I was a good parent. I had all the love in my heart to be a great parent, to do the best for my son and for my children. But I was so parenting upside down, and I was leaking a lot of negativity. And my son actually got to learn that he got more of me when he was being negative than when he was behaving or moving towards better behavior. So she goes on to say they are banking on you showing interest and being available in response. And they know we are never too busy to connect and energize when the kids are fighting. We could be in a different room. If they're quiet and being cooperative and compliant, we just leave them, like we just get on with what we're doing. As soon as we hear yelling, shouting, fighting, we're in there like a flash, giving energy and attention. We're never too busy, in most instances, to give energy to the negative, but sometimes we're too busy to give it to the positive. So in this dynamic, she said, our kids get stuck in the upside down cycle of choosing negative behaviors to get faster connection, because it's so much more reliable than positive behaviors. So in this case, it's time to pull in a strong stand 3. So I'm going to talk about the stands in just a moment. This is not what turns me on. You say to the kids, this is not what turns me on. Problems are not the foundation of our relationship. I refuse to give energy to the negativity and the problems. And trust that they are strong enough, the kids are strong enough, wise enough, and amazing enough to find the start over button or the reset button without us helping them, even though they are feeling something intense. So if we trust that the children will know that they're, that something's not right, that they're feeling intense, they're feeling agitated, they're feeling, escalated for something, for some reason, upset, sad, angry, we just need to give them the space to figure it out. So trust that they are the best managers of their own intensity and that it is not too much for them. They can handle it all and they can do that well. And in that refusal to engage, we are actually communicating trust to the children. And I love that. And we are right there to see the start over button, or I like to call it the reset button. And at that point, we can totally engage with recognition that you are being completely and, polite and respectful in this moment. You are, such a kind person. You are such a kind boy. You must have had a reason for being rude, and yet you were able to reset and get back to your heart and to your truth. So let the children know you're there for them. But also let them know that we trust that we can connect via greatness and we don't have to resort to negativity. So I absolutely love that. And I so aligned with what she said in that post, because, especially for us parents of kids who are that little bit more intense or challenging, we do very, very naturally tend to come in and zone in and focus on when they're doing the wrong thing. And that's when we become their favorite toys. That's when, the kids know how to get their favorite toy going. And unfortunately, for most of them, they know to get their favorite toy going when they're mucking up or doing the wrong thing or being negative or breaking rules. That's when we come to life. That's when our arms come up in the air and our voice raises and our eyes open and pop. And, that's when they get to smell our perfume because we get close and personal with them, right? And kids actually learn that from a very young age. They learn to get more energy from us when they're doing the wrong thing. So today I really want to teach you in the next few minutes the 3-step dance with Nurtured Heart. So Nurtured Heart is actually based on 3 stands. And if you think about a stand is something that we, feel strongly about. We stand strong in that opinion or that thought or that philosophy, or it's something that we're very passionate about if we stand for something. And so we call them the 3 stands. So stand 1 is absolutely no. That's not giving energy to the negative. It's not giving relationship and connection to the things that are not going well or not going right. Just like we wouldn't get our watering can, fill it with beautiful fresh water, put some plant nutrients in it, and then go and water the weeds. We just wouldn't do that, right? Because ultimately we don't want the weeds to grow. Sometimes we might accidentally water the weeds, but we wouldn't normally go on purpose and want the weeds to grow and water them and give them nutrients to grow. And it's the same with our relationships, particularly with our kids. We don't want to water, we don't want to grow the things like rudeness, disrespect, being unkind, not listening. We don't want to grow those things. So why do we tend to more naturally, go towards energizing the things that we don't want to grow? So let's learn this stance. So stand 1 is absolutely no, not giving energy to the negative. Stand 2 is absolutely yes, looking for every opportunity to encourage, to recognize the child or the person for steps towards greatness or for steps towards being more positive, or steps towards being more cooperative, more respectful, more thoughtful and more kind. They might not be doing it perfectly, but we can recognize and we can even hijack them if they are moving in the direction. They might have been just arguing and fighting with their sibling just 2 minutes ago, but now they're not. So we can recognize them for their self-control, that they've been able to control their emotions, that they're not yelling and arguing in this moment, that they're showing compassion and they're being thoughtful and respectful in this moment. So we can always find things to recognize if we look for them, right? For some kids, we might have to hijack them a little bit more than for other kids, but there are always many opportunities to come in and recognize and do that dance in stand 2 of putting a lot of energy and a lot of connection and a lot of relationship into what we want to grow more. So stand 2 is absolutely yes. Stand 3 is absolute clarity. So that's having clarity around rules or around boundaries. Some people prefer to call them boundaries. around consequences, or around basically, you know, making it clear for the children and for yourself or for anybody in the home how you want the home to be, what is okay and what is not okay, and making sure that everybody understands those. And then if a rule is broken or if a boundary is crossed, then the consequence of that is to reset and come back into a place of positivity. Just like in the video game, and I know I've done calls and talked about the video game before, so many kids relate so positively to video games because the stand 3, the rules and the boundaries and the consequences are clear. They know if they break a rule or cross a boundary or do the wrong thing, they get kicked out of the game, or they go down a level, or they lose points, or whatever happens. But then they also know that they can come back, they can reset, they can come back into the game with positivity and with more enthusiasm, and perhaps learning from the mistake they just made. So the video game analogy is really clever because it really does help us to understand why the reset is so powerful. I actually just heard a live from somebody this morning, and they talked about the BOP, and I'm going to steal this because I really like it. The BOP is to breathe, so to take some deep breaths, calm yourself down, teach the children this as well. Use some deep breathing to calm yourself down, open your heart. So the O is for open your heart, and the P is for pause. So when we're feeling escalated for whatever reason, we can BOP. Take some deep breaths. The little kids, you can even teach them to blow out the candles. Like blow out a few candles, open your heart up to what is it I really want? How do I want to be feeling? What energy do I want around me at the moment? To pause and feel into that, and then to come back in with that feeling and into that space. So I love that analogy of the BOP. It works really well with the reset. And the reason we call it a dance between the 3 stands is it's not necessary that we go from stand 1 to stand 2 to stand 3 with this dance. We might be you know, in a situation where everything's going okay, and then something happens, the kids start fighting, or something happens and we become escalated. We become feeling, you know, those feelings of I need to yell, shout, be angry. So we can start with stand 3 straight away. Recognize that we are escalated. Calm ourselves down, take some deep breaths, open our heart, pause, and then feel into what it is we really want. We can recognize that we don't want to dance in stand 1. We don't want to energize the negative. We don't want to grow what's happening at the moment. We want to switch that. We want to change that. Come into stand 2 and look for every opportunity we can in that moment to acknowledge that person who has escalated us, or who we're maybe escalating each other. We may need to show, and then we can come back into stand 2 and recognize, first of all, we can recognize ourselves. So well done, Lillian. It could be just an internal recognition for resetting, and for, you know, for taking the time to breathe and open your heart and pause, so that I can come back now into stand 2 and look for something positive to acknowledge or recognize. And even if not in the other person, even in myself, I can show by example that I'm resetting. I can actually model the reset to the other person, especially if it's the child. I could even ask the other person, hey, let's reset together. I can see things got a bit escalated, got a bit out of hand. We were both angry. We both said things we didn't want to, or whatever the circumstance was. Let's reset, rather than making it about the other person, particularly the child, and making them feel like, you know, it's all about them. So that dance, you know, that beautiful energetic dance, and once you learn the 3 stands, you can, once you practice it a lot, you can just do the dance naturally. So just like learning the 3-step, is a real dance apparently, just like learning the 3-step dance, you're probably not going to be perfect on it on your first lesson, or even your second or third lesson, or many more lessons if you're anything like me. It takes time. You've got to practice the steps. You've got to know, you know, when to step and how to step and how fast to step, and so forth. And it's the same with the Nurtured Heart approach using the 3 stands. You've got to practice a lot, the 3 stands. And then when you become fluent in the 3 stands, then the 3-step dance, that energetic dance, becomes a lot easier. You can easily flow in and out of all the stands, whichever one is needed. It could be going straight into a stand 2. You've just come in and recognized your children for doing something well, for showing some greatness, for showing a positive quality. You didn't need to worry about stand 1. There was nothing negative that was happening. You've just come straight into stand 2. You could come straight into an escalated situation where you just need to go, oh my gosh, I need to go straight into stand 3. I need to reset. I need to breathe, open my heart, pause, then come back into stand 2. Or then remember stand 1, not giving energy to the negative. So it is a very beautiful energetic dance. So I hope that makes sense for you. It is a little bit, I have shared some different stuff that I did in the take 1. So if you listen to take 1, I hope you got more out of take 2 as well. No, you didn't listen to take 1 because you couldn't hear it. So thank you so much for tuning in to my take 2. I hope you got some value from it. I do want to invite you and encourage you to join us next Monday night, 18th of Feb. Oh, Feb, where am I? April? I don't even know what month it is today. What's going on, Lillian? Let me just breathe, open my heart, pause, and get back into that space of clarity, of knowing what I'm talking about. Monday, the 18th of April, which happens to be Easter Monday evening. So hopefully you'll all be rested from not having a day at work that day, perhaps. 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You must register to join. Once you register, I'll send you an email with all of the details to be able to join us either from the Facebook page or from Zoom. So the masterclass is called How to Parent Right Side Up to Improve Behaviour and Strengthen Connections, which is really all about what I've just been sharing with you. I'm going to have some amazing guests on the call. I'm going to have my friend Jenna Kenny, who is a holistic counsellor and an art therapist. She's actually going to be hosting the evening, and she's actually currently doing our 9-week course. We're in week 7 this week. So she's going to be able to share her experiences with that as well. I'm going to be having my husband Andrew on, who of course is dad to our revolting child, and just share his experiences of the journey that we've had with him and where they're at now. They're actually in their 11th year together in business, which is amazing. My son Nathan, so it's a bit of a family affair, isn't it? My son Nathan is going to be jumping on. He's a naturopath, herbalist and nutritionist. He's going to be sharing with us some great health and wellness tips. He's going to be talking about pyrrole and methylation, which is a really important topic for parents of children with intensity. And who else have we got on? We've got Tim Green on, who is co-founder of Teach Me, a beautiful home education program. So he's going to be sharing a little bit as well. We're going to have some giveaways. So we're going to be giving away for somebody live on the call a holiday voucher valued up to $1,000 and 3 one-on-one consults worth $160 each as well. So it definitely is worth getting on live. If you can't get on live, still register, because you will be then sent the replay through your registration. So that's it from me today. Take 2 of the 3-step Nurtured Heart Approach dance today. Lillian Reiki, parenting strategist from Parent Support Network, equipping parents to enjoy happy and healthy children and relationships on purpose. Thanks and bye for now.